Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have a top 16 breakdown for the PlayTCG online November regionals that happened this past weekend. It was right under 500 players, and we do have the top 16 decks for you guys today. And honestly, we're very late game into this meta. We've kind of had like the same meta for 3 months with like minor changes along the way. We had the reprint booster, which honestly really didn't do a lot. I don't think I've really seen any of those cards in the top 16 at all since it was released. And then also we did have the new Star decks, which we do see a couple of the cards in this breakdown. The last one we did, I think we saw a couple of the Garurumon cards. This time we're going to see a couple of the Greymon cards, but again, nothing really impactful. And it's okay for what it is. Obviously, we do have a very diverse pie chart for this event, but most of the decks are pretty similar to what we've been seeing, and that's kind of just the way it's been for the last little bit. So we have one more weekend of this format, which is going to be the Core CCG Pasadena Regionals next weekend, and then we're going to be able to get the new set as well as be able to have some Ultimate Cups as well as another regional, one last regional before we start for Nationals, which is going to be in Pasadena again for December. So that's kind of what we have for the next couple of weeks for this card game and tournament breakdown and such. But we're going to go over just some of the deck lists for this one. Normally I kind of go over every one of these individual archetypes based on how they topped, but a lot of them are really similar. So the ones we're kind of skipping, I'm going to still congratulate the players. But we have Ryu with Hunters. Hunters has been pretty much the same since release, especially since it's so archetype dependent. We also have William with Red Hybrid, which has been again pretty consistent throughout the way. Mostly just kind of some minor kind of changes on card ratios and whatnot, not really card pool. We also have with Black War Gray. This is kind of like a newer build, but we have Matt with their Black War Gray OTK, which is an interesting deck. It got some support, and it's just kind of like a bunch of Agumons, a bunch of Greymons, and being able to use either like a really good Chimeramon stack or being able to go into Black War Gray and being able to get your effects off and just have hit your opponent down with so many swings. Kind of the build for this one, but it hasn't really changed. It's kind of like the build for it since it's kind of been discovered. We also have Alphamon, so this is Kevin's build for it. Obviously, this got a lot of new life with the new cards, including the Duro Greymon, and just having a new line of cards to work with. But again, it's just you use those lines, not really a lot of tech for these builds. And then also we have Jesse with Shine, which will probably be changing post ban list because we do all have this Geo Gray at 1. But you just play all the cards in the package, right? You do have some decisions on like the top end if you want to run Ruin mode or if you want to run like the Agu X and what color your eggs are, but just generically what the decisions are for this deck too. And then finally Royal Knights. This one does have a couple of choice picks for it, but it's just what kind of Royal Knights you want ratio wise. A lot of them, like the Dynasmon is at 4, the Magnamon's at 4. We run 4 Omnis, 4 of the Purge, and then whichever ones you like kind of more and what ratios there. So this is GJ's version of the deck too. So honestly, there is a lot of diversity, I think, in a lot of these builds in the fact that they're different, archetypes and stuff, but inside the builds, there's really only one way to build them, and so that's kind of what we've been seeing for this one. But we do have 5 other decks I kind of want to focus on for this one. We're going to start off with our first place list, so we have Steven, and honestly, like, Blue Flare is pretty generic for what it is, but this is the first place list, so I do kind of want to go over it as well. And if we look at the breakdown too, Blue Flare did take the a quarter of this top 16, so which is quite a bit. And honestly, like we're looking at this, a lot of one-of decks, and including like Shine, which normally has been doing really well, only getting one spot in the top 16 and just barely getting into there with the 15th. But again, Blue Flare has been in a pretty good spot, I think, for the last 6 months of this year. Obviously, the expansion set helped a lot, and then also being able to this is like a really interesting tech card that we see here, the Z Garurumon. So this is from EX4, has a when digivolving, return one of your opponent's level 4 Digimon to its hand. Then if they have 8 or more cards in hand, you can return a 6 or higher to their hand. And then also all turns once return when an effect adds a card to your opponent's hand. If you have a Tamer in play, which you probably should because you're Blue Flare, you get to return when your opponent's level 3 or lower. So honestly, this looks like a really interesting tech for what it is. I think it can get like some good removal for a lot of other cards as well. I've never seen this in any top 16 breakdown. So, and this card has been out for a little bit. So I think being able to have like this card that your opponent's probably not playing around or not recognizing as a threat is good. Obviously, we only play one copy of it, but it's not too difficult for us to be able to play like a Metal Gray, either one of these for 3, keep it our turn, and just kind of go into the Z Garurumon for moderately cheap, or at least be able to go into it in the with 3 memory if you have a Metal Greymon play. So that's kind of a really neat tech. I don't have much more to say because this deck has been doing very well. Congratulations to Steven for their first place finish. Next up, we have John with their Wargreymon, the Wargreymon X rather, builded this because we do have like more of like the X antibody of it, a lot more aggression with this build since we do have like 4 of the Greymon with security attack +1. We also do have the new Metal Greymon, so this is a black Digimon, but you can Digivolve on top of a card with Greymon in its name as well. Has blocker as a regular effect, being inheritable is security attack +1, so being able to kind of stack security attack +1 with it and the Greymon again from Starter Deck 1 can be very strong for you. So we have 3 copies of Wargrey from BT12, 3 of the X, and then we have a top end of an Omni X and 2 of the Omnimon from BT5. So pretty aggressive build. This did get second place, which is really impressive. I'd say like before the starter deck came out, Wargreymon X wasn't really the way. Most of the Greymon decks right now are piles, and we'll see another one in a second. But there's just so many good generic Agumons, Greymons, Metal Greymons, and the like that you can kind of build it the way that you like it, which I think is really neat. But yeah, more of the aggression I think hasn't been as much as like the Black or Gray core is usually the more popular top end for this deck. So not much more to say. Congratulations to John for their second place with Wargrey X. And then also we have Ren with the Black Wargrey X. So this is definitely more of the standard that we do see for these builds. We do have like a bunch of top end. We have 3 Black Wargrey, 1 Wargreymon, 2 of the Black Wargrey, and then 1 of the Gaimon. So 3 of the X's. So generally I say this is a Black Wargrey X build, but it's definitely like a Greymon build in a lot of ways. And you just see like the amount of variety we're afforded for this deck too. So the new cards that we added for this one is the Greymon from Starter Deck 15, being able to, from your security, get to play an Agumon or tie from your hand or trash without paying the cost. So being able to do that for free is really nice off of a security effect. But and also you're able to Digivolve this on top of any Agumon in its name. So that also includes Agumon X, by the way, because Agumon is in the name. And then also the inheritable is all turns once per turn. When an attack target is switched, you get to gain 1 memory. So that can be either with your Black or Gray X ability, that can be with your Wargrey X raid ability, anything like that. I think that's very strong. So that's kind of like the one little tech. And also we do have one more tie. It's the one from Starter Deck 15. It sets your memory to 3. And also all turns when an attack target is switched by suspending this tamer, you get to draw 1, and then one of your Digimon gets plus 2k DP. So pretty good effect there. It just means like if your opponent also blocks, it's a change of attack target. So that kind of fits there. So Ren's been playing a lot of Black or Gray. He's been very accomplished with the deck too. So congrats again for their finish here. Next up we have Bloomlord, which this is Cynthia's build of it here, and we see somewhat a good amount of Bloomlord. Generically, we kind of have a choice between the Mimi and the kind of the new Yoshino build, running like the Sunflowermons, but also like the one of Lilamon. Being able to use this to play Yoshino for free is kind of nice. And then also we do have the Rosemon on the top end. So card effect: when Digivolving, by suspending one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, you get to unsuspend this Digimon, and then also all turns once per turn, when opponent's Digimon or Tamer becomes suspended, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamer. So being able to get one of those kind of effects off, I think, is really nice. No burst mode for this one. I haven't seen burst mode in a long time, but it is something that is potential for this build specifically too. But you're going to be really, really hard pressed to find kind of a better top end than Quartzmon. I think this does kind of is a big bully for a lot of decks, which could be one of the reasons that we did see Z Garurumon in the blue flare list. They wanted to get rid of Quartzmon, so this card is pretty good, not only in Bloomlord, but we did see it in the Hunters build as well. And I'd say usually Hunters is used pretty good. It's hasn't been, I think, as popular in the last couple of weeks, but it has been definitely present as well. So this is Cynthia's list. Congratulations for their 11th place finish. And to wrap it up, we have one more deck. It's Ulforce. So this is Marco's build as well. And Ulforce kind of shows up every once in a while. It did win an event a couple weeks ago as well, but it is a very kind of build your stack kind of deck, kind of more, I would say, of like our traditional OTKs previously for this. So being able to kind of build your Ulforce and go off with it. We have one copy of Death X as well. We're running the Leomon package, which I think is the more popular package we've seen in the last couple of weeks too, and then kind of just the end goal. So we have like one Sora and Joe that's kind of a more unique tamer for this decisions here. We're playing like one Dracomon, which can find any Dramon, so that can be the Vidramon, Arrow Vidramon, or Ulforce Vidramon. So that's kind of nice for us too. And just a little bit more unique build, and I just kind of want to touch on Ulforce for just a second. But honestly, that's going to be my breakdown for this one. I know a little bit shorter, a little bit quicker, but you guys kind of know what the deck lists look like. This is more just kind of showing that the deck lists are on my website, which you guys can check out with the link in the description. But that's going to be it for me. So thank you guys very much. If you guys are going to be in Pasadena, let me know, since I will definitely be there, and hope for a really good event for that one too. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.